U.S. Republicans are accusing the military of double standards over a Marine facing a court-martial for criticizing the Biden administration's pullout from Afghanistan. It is in stark contrast to another officer who was hailed as a hero for standing up to the Trump administration. RT's Caleb Moppin takes a closer look at both of the cases.
$2 million from over 27,000 different donors. That's how strongly people are feeling the case of Lieutenant Colonel Scheller. He's facing potential criminal charges over criticizing commanders over the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Now, his hearing has been delayed until next week, but his family is not very optimistic.
We have been told to prepare that it could be a long prison term.
Scheller was an active duty U.S. Marine whose frustration over the bungled retreat from Kabul led to making videos bashing Biden and the Pentagon brass that quickly went viral.
People are upset because their senior leaders let them down, and none of them are raising their hands and accepting accountability or saying, we messed this up. I'm not saying we've got to be in Afghanistan forever, but I am saying, did any of you throw your rank on the table and say, hey, it's a bad idea to evacuate Bagram Airfield, a strategic air base, before we evacuate everyone? I am submitting charges against General McKenzie for his bad assumptions. Not because I'm vindictive, but because the senior leaders need to be held accountable to the same standard as us.
He's now accused of breaking 4 laws, though there are not formal charges yet. Now, Scheller is not the first military man to raise a voice about issues. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman was on active duty when he first spoke up against the Pentagon brass. He testified at Trump's impeachment proceedings as a Pentagon whistleblower. He claimed that Donald Trump had made a quid pro quo with the president of Ukraine. He was anointed by mainstream media and the Democrats as a saint.
This guy's a hero. This guy is a patriot.
One of these two men, the president and Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, devoted his life to duty and honor.
Right matters. What an extraordinary statement from an immigrant who has served this country proudly his entire life.
Now, the answers from the White House quickly turned evasive when they faced some tough questions about parallels.
President Biden called Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman a hero for speaking out against his commander-in-chief. He even testified on Capitol Hill while in uniform. So how is this different, especially since you just said the president welcomes the candor and the advice of his military advisors? Does the president also see Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller as a hero?
I don't have all the details on these circumstances. I understand that's going to be frustrating to you, but we will work to get you an answer on it.
Republicans are speaking up, saying that they see a double standard.
If you speak out against the Democratic president, you get thrown in the brig. But if you are doing something against a Republican president, you're lauded a hero. This is double standard.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman was celebrated by media, while Lieutenant Colonel Scheller is in prison for demanding accountability on the disastrous withdrawal. Both challenged leadership. One was treated as a hero and the other punished.
I remember when military leadership wasn't an oxymoron. It's no wonder they can't see the obvious coming anymore. The best bureaucrats and the absolute worst warfighters are the ones that get promoted and make the decisions.
Military leaders who criticized Donald Trump got talk show appearances and book deals, treated almost like heroes, while one who just criticized Biden is facing a hearing and a potentially long-term spell behind bars.
A double standard that we see being exercised here today, and it's a very dangerous precedent that's going forward. It's the double standard by Democrats, first of all, but also manifested tremendously by the mass media that we have that tends to be predominantly left-leaning and very much in the pocket of the Democrat Party. Anything that was anti-Trump was hailed, and so it's not surprising that anything Republican, as in the case of Vindman, was treated with kid gloves, and as a consequence, he gets off scot-free, having leaked classified information.
The political landscape has certainly evolved from what it was a year ago. Democrats are no longer celebrating those with the courage to speak up against those in power. Being a hero isn't so much about what you do, but who you do it against. Caleb Moppin, RT, New York.